What's up, everybody? This is Matt Miller, and today I'm going to be showing my number one secret on making progress every single day. So, have you ever had any of the challenges where maybe you have a task or some kind of project, or maybe it's a goal that you want to achieve, but you're at a standstill? Maybe you made a ton of progress the very first couple of days or the very first couple of weeks, but because you spent too much time and too much effort and too much energy on it, you experienced burnout. So you got to a phase where you just didn't want to continue. So you took a couple weeks off, and then maybe that spiraled into a couple of months. So then you take a look at this project several months ago, and you realize that you just haven't been making any progress. Or maybe you had a project where you didn't have a vision and you weren't sure how to complete it, so that you didn't even get started. Or because you didn't get started, you weren't able to build any momentum to continue making progress each and every day. So I've had these same struggles too, where I've always been somebody who's wanted to take on a big project or take on a big task, but there's often been times where I'll take it on, and maybe I'll get off to a super good start, or maybe I don't, but at the same time, I'll take a look back at it, several weeks or several months ago, and my progress just wasn't made. So I've noticed that I'm most confident and I'm making the most progress when I make it a daily action and consistently work towards getting better. So my number one secret is focusing on getting 1% better each and every day. So why 1%? If you're able to become 1% better every day, first, it's obtainable, so it's not out of reach. It's something that we can all do. And then if you compound 1% for 30 days, for 90 days, for a whole entire year, we'll notice that the improvement is drastically different than maybe when we have some good days where we're making a lot of progress, but then we slip back and maybe take a couple steps backwards, focus on something else. But if we have inconsistent growth, that's not a good thing. So I've noticed that consistency, and if you make it a practice to do it every single day, it's going to be on the top of your mind. So you're going to remind yourself, and it's going to be something that you ultimately make a habit or a routine to get better at. So another thing is it's going to motivate you, and it's also going to be something where you see the progress. And it doesn't always have to be measurable. It doesn't always have to be losing a pound per week or increasing your bench press a pound per week as well. It could be something where maybe you get less irritated at somebody that you're having a conversation with. Maybe you have the awareness to understand that something isn't going your way, so you make a pivot and you change direction. And I love the book, The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. And he really explains this, consistent progress each and every day, which shows a compounding effect. So I definitely recommend that book if something like compounding is interesting to you. So I've noticed that I'm at my best when I make a 1% increase in my progress each and every day. So here's the formula. Awareness plus intentional action plus consistency equals progress. So starting with awareness, like I mentioned earlier, if you're not aware, if you're not able to reflect on the different days that you're having, you're not able to make changes. You're not able to make those pivots and change direction. So the very first step in making that 1% progress every day is realizing, maybe at the end of the day, how that previous day was, or how that day 2 days ago was. And looking back and measuring yourself against a previous version of yourself. So the second step in that formula is taking intentional action. So if we're taking action and we're making it intentional, where we will be able to see that 1% increase, that's where we need to be. And oftentimes we'll have to block off maybe 15 minutes every day. It doesn't have to be a lot of time. But if we're blocking off that time, we're making it intentional, and then we're going to be able to monitor that time each and every day to get better. And then the third step is consistency. So I like the quote, it's better to be consistently good than to be inconsistently great. So I think you think of all the people that have had huge amounts of success, it's always over the long run. Nobody does it overnight. It's always consistently getting better each and every day instead of having a great day and a bad day, and then a good day, then a bad day, then a great day. It's important to be consistent because we build that momentum, which propels us towards that goal at a faster rate every day. And another thing is, I really believe that it takes a lot of time to get really good at something, to get great at something. You hear the thing about how it takes 10,000 hours to master something, or it takes 100 YouTube videos before you're able to actually do it well. I really understand that, quality is super important and that you want to be productive and you want to work towards that perfection. But when you're starting out and you have something super big that you need to accomplish, I believe that it's better to be consistent and make progress, and it doesn't have to be super quality at the very beginning. So at the start, I think quantity is even more important than quality. So I encourage everybody to think of a task or a project that you're working on and understand and reflect, are you making progress towards it at the rate you want to? And if you're not, maybe you change your goals and objectives and change the time allotted towards it so that you can work on consistency and quantity instead of overemphasizing the quality and the productivity that you have to have at the start. Thank you.